Hello and welcome to today's edition of Cracking the Cryptic and yet another extraordinary looking puzzle, this time by Berni, who is a new compiler to the channel. And this puzzle has actually been around for a couple of years, but it was recommended to me on the grounds that it was extremely amusing, as well as being a good solve. Now, it's very rare in my experience to find a Sudoku puzzle that actually makes you laugh, but when I read the instructions to this puzzle, it did make me laugh, and I'll share the joke with you in just a second. Just a quick message, do check out our Kickstarter book if you've not done so yet. We have now hit the stretch target we'd set ourselves regarding the new puzzles, so the book will include new Sudokus by many of the world's best setters. Our intention is to try and get one puzzle from each of the great authors you can see listed over on Kickstarter. So this is going to be basically between 20 and 25 brand new handcrafted puzzles from some of the world's best constructors. I mean, it's just so cool. The next goal, which we hope we'll be able to meet before the deadline, is to try and ensure that the book will contain a brand new Harry Potter-esque Sudoku hunt. So yeah, do check it out if you've not checked it out yet and you think that might be interesting for you. Yeah, what should we say now? Here's the joke, right? Let me tell you. The rules to Berni's puzzle are as follows. Normal Sudoku rules apply. If there is a V between two cells with numbers, the sum of the numbers has to be 5. If there is an X between two cells with numbers, the sum of the numbers has to be 10. If there is no sign between two cells with numbers, neither of the two properties above holds. Note: all hints are daneben, is that how you say that? Daneben? That is, they are either one before or one after the symbol that should be there. And all of a sudden it becomes clear why this grid is full of W's. It's because W is the letter between V and X in the alphabet. So basically, wherever there is a W, there is either an X or a V in the sort of corrected version of this puzzle. Now, the other thing is there's a 0 in this clue. Well, obviously that's going to have to be one wrong, and we can work out what it's going to have to be. You don't get negative numbers in a Sudoku, and the 9 here, so we can work out what that one's going to be too. So do have a go at this. It's meant to be very approachable, this puzzle. 2 stars out of 5 difficulty on Logic Masters Germany. With that, so if you want to play, click the link under the video as usual. With that, I get to play. Let's get cracking, and we can immediately start by doing that look. And now what do we do? So each one of these W's is saying that the domino linking the W either adds up to 5 or 10, but we don't know which. And remember, there is a negative constraint here. So the fact that this domino, for example, doesn't contain a W means that this domino cannot add up to 5 or 10. Okay, well, the first thing that's coming back to haunt me here is my previous comment in an earlier video that the number 5 was not particularly useful in XV Sudokus. Why do I say that? Well, look at box 1. Where does the 5 go? Well, the 5 can't be on any cell that's linked by a W to another cell, because if 5 is 5 and 5 add up to 10, but you obviously have to repeat the 5 to include the 5. And if it's adding up to 5, you can't put 5 and 0 in the puzzle. So I think only that square can be a 5. And I have a feeling, because the W's are so, the W's are so densely populated, that the 5s are in actual fact incredibly restricted in this puzzle. That one. That one is probably restricted down here. Yes, it is. That one takes out those two. So that one, and that one. There we go. We've done all the 5s straight away. Now I suspect things are going to get more complicated. We're going to have to think about this. So this square, which links a 1, so this is either a 4 or a 9, depending on whether this W is meant to be an X or a V. There's nothing linking the 8 to anything. Right, okay, what are we meant to do then? Are we meant to find chains or something that... There are several potential... Oh, there's several potential chains. Look, that's a very long chain. Let's think about this one. So, this square, let's just imagine, I don't know, let's use 1 for the sake of exposition. If this is 1, this will be... Oh no, that doesn't work straight away. That's really interesting. So if this is 1, you have to put a 9 here, and now this has no other option but to be a 1 and repeat in the box. So actually this square has to be a high digit. Ah, yeah, okay. And if it's a high digit, this means that this x is a 10 clue, which means this is a low digit. Ah, yeah, okay, so let's look at it the other way around. If this is 9 and this is 1, which is possible, you can see now this can't be a 10 clue, otherwise that will repeat the 9. So actually this has to be, this is a 5 clue, so that will be a 4, that will be a 6, that would have to be a 4, that would have to be a 1, and this would have to be a... That's fascinating. So actually there is a massive chain here. Now, of course, what I've done here is I've started off with a 9. That's completely arbitrary. All I know is that this clue adds up to 10 and that this is not a small digit. When I say a small digit, I mean it's not 1, 2, 3 or 4. So probably what we should do is colour this grid, I think. So let's pick out all the digits that are higher than 5, which is those digits. I'm going to colour those in purple. All digits that are lower than 5, those ones I will colour in orange. Actually, I think I meant to use blue and orange, aren't I? I think people who suffer with colour blindness prefer that, so I'll do that. So blue means higher than a 5. And now I've got to delete all these digits because they're probably wrong. But we've retained the colours. So let us see, what does this tell us? Yeah, look at this. We've got another enormous chain over here. Boom, 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 boom. It then splits, comes back on itself, goes... Yeah, this is... Okay, we've got to look at this one. So this one is starting here. And presumably it's the same thing, i.e. if I try a low digit there, aren't I going to run into a problem? Yeah, it just doesn't work. If you try a low digit here... actually, hang on. I don't know whether I... Did I try low then high there? It doesn't matter because low then low still doesn't work. But I can't remember if I actually tried that here. So low then low. We know low then high doesn't work because that would force us a 1 immediately. So how about low then low again? That would force a 6 here. That would force this square to be 4, which breaks. And it works exactly the same way there. So this is never a low digit. We do know that. So that must be blue. Now, a blue digit can never pair up with another blue digit or it will add up to 10. To more than 10, I should say. So this is a low digit. So we could go 6, 4. So now this must also be a low digit, which means this must be a high digit. Otherwise, we'll repeat whatever we've got in that square, which means this must be a low digit because a low and a high digit must always... A high digit must share a domino with a low digit. So now this square... Now could this be... You see, this square is interesting because it does not share a column, row or box with this cell or any of these cells. So I think that can be either. Let's have a think about this. So if that was low, that would be... That could be... Well, that then could not be high, so it would have to be low, and that breaks. So it's the same again. It's like the chain resets in this position. So this must be blue. This must be low, therefore. This must be low because it's the same pattern we've had over here. This must be high. This must be high because this cell is affected by those two cells, which means that square must be low. Ah, okay, well now look, I've got 4 low digits in column 4, and that's exactly how many I should have, so those two are both high, and that's sort of confirmed with this 8 already being high, obviously. So I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put some real numbers in just so we can stare at it and see what it means. So this would go 4, 6, 4. Ah, so this square now has to be low because it can't repeat this digit. So this has to be low. This can't be low again or it will repeat that digit. So this now is high. And all these numbers are probably wrong. So let's get rid of them again. Wow, okay. Well, we've done all this colouring, but we haven't actually progressed the solve very far. Presumably, if that's low, have we got this problem again? Yeah, we have. So we've got the same pattern going on in box 1 that we've just been talking about. That's all forced. But unfortunately, we just know nothing about this. Just trying to see where the tipping point might be. Yeah, here we go. This cell here, if we look at the central box, this cell can't be low, so it's got to be high. If it's got to be high, this square must be low. And it can't be a 1. So I don't know. We can either look at the 8 or we can look at the 1. I think I'm going to look at the 8 because the 8 sees more blue cells than this 1 sees. At the moment, I only know where 2 low digits are in row 6 of the grid. So we'll start with this and then we'll move on to the 1 if we need to. So 6, 7 and 9 into those squares. Now that means, what does it mean? It means this square has got to be 1, 3 or 4. Which means this square has to be 2, 1 or 4. That's quite good. That's quite good because that means, look, if this has to be 2, 1 or 4, but this domino adds to 10, you can see this can't be 2 because it's not possible for this to be 8. If this can't be 2, this can't be 3, and we have a 1, 4 pair, that makes that a 2, 3 pair, makes this a 1, 4 pair, makes this a 6 or a 9, and suddenly we have a little bit of a breakthrough, do we? Yes, this can't be 7 now because it's got to pair up with a 1 or a 4. That gives us a 6, 9 pair in this row. This can't be 7 either. So so this square is a 7. Okay, so have a look at this domino now. This domino, if it's a high-low domino, we can't use 7 and 8 in it, so that one of the digits would have to be a 6 or a 9. So the other one would have to be a 1 or a 4, which would clash, which means this is not a high-low domino, this is a low-low domino. And therefore it all turns orange, and therefore this is blue. 1, 2, 3, 4, therefore this is orange. We don't know about that one. That would be a very useful one to know. Okay, this 1 fixes the 1, 4 over here. That should get us a bit of traction because that means we get the 6, we get the 4, we get the 1, we get the 9. We get the 9 here. This must be a 1. This must be, that's a high digit, so that's a 9. This must be a 1. This is a low digit, so it must be a 4. That means that's a 6. Good grief. So this is a 2, 3 pair. And those must be a 7, 8 pair. This must be a... this square is low and can't be 2 or 3, so it's got to be 1 because there's a 4 in the column. This is a 4 or a 9. A bit like that one. So, so if this was 9, this would have to be 1. That's not going to work. This is 4 and this is 6. So that means that's low. This is high. And these two squares must be a 6, 9 pair, and there's a 6, 9 here. So, oopsie, so we get 6, 9. There's a 9 in one of those two squares. This must be a 1. This must be a 4. There's no other way, and that's why they're linked by a W. Perfect. It's a brilliant idea, isn't it? It's so elegant. Now, those two have got to be 7 and 8 by the looks of things. We can do that just to complete this column. That therefore must be a 6. We have a look down this column, we've not placed 9 in it, which means 9 goes here. 9 goes in one of those. Oh yeah, look at this. 9 goes in one of those two. It can't go there, or that will be a 1. So 9 goes here, and this must be a 1. Let's colour them in, make sure we keep track. 1 must be in, no, 1's in fact there, precisely here. And this can't be a 9, so this is a 4, and we get another set of colours in. This now must be a 6, because it can't be a 1, and it therefore turns blue. 6 must live in one of those two cells. We need 2, 3, and 8 along there. That's actually not that useful, but let's put it in. So this square is either a 2 or a 3, or it's a, in fact, no. I mean, if this is a low domino, this is a 2 or a 3. If it's a high domino, this is an 8 or a... that's no use at all. No, sorry, that doesn't look like it's going to butter any parsnips. Okay. If this is a 7 or an 8, this is a 2 or a 3. But okay, that's not, again, that's still not useful. So there must be more of these W's, I think, that we're going to have to use to make a bit more progress in a moment. These two squares have got to be 2 and 3 because they can't be 1 and 4. These are 7 and 8. Really don't know much about 7s and 8s. Look, there's a 7-8 pair there though, so this square is a 2 or a 3, therefore it's low. So this can't be a 9 now. That's nice. If that can't be a 9, that might be helpful. So this square is a 7 or an 8. Which, that's quite interesting, because that means the other side, you see this flips down here. So if this was 3, 7, for example, this could not be a high digit because it would have to repeat what we put in here. So this is a low digit. This is a 2 or a 3. Turn it orange. This square is a high digit and it's a 7 or an 8. You can now see all of those 3 squares have to be blue. And they have to include 6 and 9. So 9 must be in one of, they have to include 6 and 9. So 9 must be in one of those squares and can't be here. So that's a 4, and we get 2 more oranges. Now do we do? So 4 by Sudoku has to go there. This can't be a 1. So not only do we know this is orange, we know this is blue, and it's a 6. That fixes the 6 over in box 6 over there. 4. It also fixes the 6 down here by Sudoku. So there's a bit of Sudoku to do. That must be a 4. Blue. This turns orange. This square here has got to be 2, 3, 7 or 8, which is completely useless because that means that square has got to be 2, 3, 7 or 8. This square has got to be 2, 3, 7 or 8. This square has got to be 2, 3, 7 or 8. And this square has got to be 2, 3, 7 or 8. You guessed it. Here's an interesting one. Look at this W here. Actually, it's not that interesting. I don't know why I said that. Well, we know there must be a 7 on it. So this must be 3, 7. So it is interesting. I'm just wrong. 3, 7 must go here because of this 8. Now that is interesting because all of a sudden this can't be a 2. Because if this was a 2, this square would have to be a 3 and there would have to be a W between them because they would add to 5. So this is 8, which means this now can't be a 2 either because then it would add to 10. So it's 3, 2, 2. You can get rid of 2 from all of those squares. So this is a 3, 7, 8 triple. This becomes a 2. We can use the negative constraint between these two. This can't be a 3. So that's a 7, that's a 3. Oh, and it must be close now. That's got to be a 2 or a 3. We can fill in a lot of colours, so let's not be remiss about that. Those two, oh, whoopsie, these all get coloured in. So this must be a high digit. This has got to be a 7 or an 8. Got a 2, 3 pair here, so this has got to be this one here has got to be high, and it's got to be a 7 or an 8. So we can see now where does 9 go in this box? It can only go into this square, which means that's a 9 over there, and this is a 7 or an 8. It feels like we're going to have to use the negative constraint somehow to progress this. This square can't be a 7 because it can't attach to a 2 in a meaningful relationship. So the 7 is in one of those two squares. So 7, 3, 2 works fine. 7, 3 up here. This would have to be 8. No, 8. Oh, 8, 3 doesn't work. Hang on. If the 7 is here, how does this work now? It doesn't, because this would be a 3, 8 pair. So the 7 is not there. This is a 7, which means this must be a 3. This is now working. This becomes an 8. This becomes a 2. This must be a high-low pair now, and it can't be 8, 2. So this has to be 3, 7. Yes, I think we're there. I think we're there now. I don't know why I said that. That was so silly. But I think we might be. I really do. 2, 3, 8, 7. Just try. Look, we've got the domino here, which allows us to continue. This 3 fixes the 2, 3 over there. This square here now is an 8. This 2 fixes the 2 and the 3 at the top. That must be a 7. This must be an 8. This 3 fixes the 3 and the 7. Oh, no, I'm going to colour it before I do anything. 9 and 7 and 8 are all high. 2, and that 7's high as well. 2, 3, 3, orange. And now I'll click check. Yeah, that's how to solve it. Brilliant, isn't it? It's just such a clever idea. So original to put W's in the grid and to note that that is sort of one removed from a V and an X. I just love it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Something a bit easier today, although not that straightforward. You still had to be a bit careful. And we'll be back later, of course, with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.